what's the point of going from the GIFF token to the PGIF token? I mean, it's 1-to-1 burnable. I get that, but what's the difference here? Why would somebody with the GIFF token want to change over to the PGIF token?
My goodness, Connor, you just asked the best question of the day. Yeah, this is the dilemma that we're trying to suss out here. I've been using that word a lot today, suss out. The idea is you've got the GIFF token who has, was all pre-minted, 1 billion total, and you cannot create any more. So the real idea of the experiment is with Pulsar, for example, what we were building with Pulsar is that Titan is a big part of Pulsar. That is going to be the other half of what is required to mint Pulsar, just like GIFF is required to mint PermaGiff. So the big difference between the two is anything that's minted from Titan X can hold the title of fair launch token. If it's derived from Titan X, it's fair launch. Anybody with a little bit of ETH and some time to wait can mine your Titan X, right? So that makes it fair launch. The opposite end of the spectrum is a centralized launch. And the interesting part about that is that it does have a tendency to really be able to pump in value in general, like just generally speaking. So if we took a token that was essentially entirely 100% open Zeppelin, copy paste, and just created this generic token with a set supply. But now we're able to send some of that supply to the dead address. Like, how will that impact the overall value or the overall supply in terms of, your supply versus demand sort of mechanics? So that was kind of the main reason. We wanted to see how that would really play out. Now, which token is better holding? That's the real question. I'm more interested to hear what all your guys' ideas are, because you have a scenario where you have a token that is now deflationary and will only be deflationary versus a token that you can mint and is reinforced by the highest buy and burn in any ecosystem. It takes a substantial amount of PLS, at least in current market term conditions, to mint PermaGiff. And the vast majority of that, 90% to be exact, is going to be earmarked for the buy and burn, which will then be used with an aggregator to make it even more efficient to reinforce its value long term. So it's a situation where you've got one asset that is deflationary, that is needed to drive the ecosystem forward. And on the other hand, you have the new token that is the first ever token created from creation, not inflation, that is tied to a perma bull tokenomic of where you take a protocol fee in, and the majority of that protocol fee is used to buy and burn the token you just minted, which means you cannot mint or arbitrage in a way that hurts the ecosystem. If you mint, you're permanently bullish. If you arbitrage just to make a few dollars because it's above the ceiling price, you're permanent bullish. That economic energy goes into permabull or PermaGiff and can never be removed. So you've got two ends of a spectrum here that are both very, very interesting to see how it kind of plays out. So I'm sorry I couldn't answer your question directly, but it was a fantastic question. I'm more interested to hear what everybody else thinks.
Is the fee per GIF modifiable?
Nope, that is permanent. So that is another part of the experiment. We're going to see how it plays out. So with it being 10 PLS per GIF that you send in to burn in order to mint the PGIF, that is permanent. That cannot be changed. So that being said, it is very much tied to the value of PLS as a token in its whole.
And this is separate. How does this link to Pulsar? I
These
guess
tokens,
you're going to build. So
yeah, sorry, I jumped in there too soon. These tokenomics are the same tokenomics we're using in Pulsar. The only difference is really PermaGiff is coming from a more centralized ownership perspective where you have a limited supply, and Pulsar is coming from more of a free launch or fair launch kind of narrative or ecosystem where you can use a fair launch token in order to mint. But these are tokenomics that we're going to be using in Pulsar as well. We're just here to try to prove its value currently.